Hey everybody, welcome to the GM's table. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. If you want to help out the channel more than that, check out the names below. It'll come in there. There's also going to be a link in the doobly-doo. Check out the Patreon. You get videos early, PDFs, blah, 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 blah. You guys know the deal at this point. Anyways, I've seen this question come up every so often, but by the time I'm recording this, in like the last week, it's come up, I think, 4 or 5 times. People have commented on my page asking, why can't we do this? And it's, why do we stop at a D12? Why don't the higher end attributes do a D14, a D16, 18, 20? And I'm going to cover that. First and foremost, those dice do exist. Here's some of them, because I've also run Dungeon Crawl Classics, and it needs these dice. The simple, easiest answer is, first and foremost, is anything between a D12 and a D20 are hard to get. You can go on Amazon now, but most game shops don't carry them. They're finicky dice. People don't want to buy special dice for this. I have had people go, oh, well, no, you don't have to buy the dice. You just roll a D20. And if it's, like, say it's a D16, if it's a 17 or more, you just re-roll. Well, you can do that with a D4, a D6. You can do anything up to a 20 with that. That doesn't make it a D16. D16 is a die 16. You're faking it and making the game take longer for it. Because of that, because you want to have it increase in a very odd way, in all honesty. The way the dice scale, there's a reason it stops at a 12. Plain. So first and foremost, why don't they have that? And I've even had people ask, will it be added in the Savage Worlds, the new edition? No. Because it's an awful idea for many, many reasons. And I'm going to get into some, because I also have some probabilities here if it focuses. Yeah, a bunch of numbers. Okay, so first and foremost, the dice. That's out of the way. Second of all, anybody who thinks increasing the die makes you better than beyond a D12? No, not at all. Now, I've had some go, well, but I want it more granular. First of all, this isn't a granular system. This is a cinematic system. It can get granular in places, but we're not playing GURPS. We're not, I'm going to get kind of blunt right here. We're not playing the Palladium system for riffs, if you're running Savage Riffs. This is a system to not be granular on purpose. Now, I want to bring that because I've had some people say they want to do it to be more granular. I've also had some people bring up that they want to do it to feel more heroic. And you're less heroic. Because first, let's run down the odds of a success and a raise for D12 and beyond. So at a D12, to succeed, the success and raises, I rounded off because it gets very long. To succeed, you have about an 88% chance to succeed if you have a D12. To get a raise, to get an 8 or better, or if you're looking at up to a -4 penalty and getting a success, you have a 50% chance. That's still really good. At D12 plus 1, jumps up to 94 for a success and 59 for a raise. Everything after D12 plus 1, you're not going to increase. D12 plus 2 increases. After that, nothing else is going to get a higher chance of success, because the only way you're rolling below a 4 without penalties is if you snake eyes. Now, rounding it, it's a 99%. It's actually a 98.7 blah blah, or 0.6 blah 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 blah. But it's basically a 99% chance you're going to succeed. So, D12 plus 2, 99% chance of success. A raise, about 65%. Plus 3, 99% chance to succeed. A raise, 77%. Alright? And plus 4, I don't go past plus 4 because honestly, most games don't even go into the pluses. Those that do tend to go into just plus 1, plus 2 because there's the legendary edges. But plus 4, you have about a 99% chance to succeed and an 88% chance at a raise. Okay. Now we're going to get into that, but you fail on a snake eyes. Because there is kind of this thinking, and I've seen this come up a lot, where, but if I increase my die, my odds of botching the roll lower. And that's true. The odds of a snake eye never get lower from D12 to any of the bonuses. The odds of a snake eyes are 1.33%. Yes, I'm going into decimals because in the snake eye odds, you have to. Because the changes when we get to the other dice are so minuscule, there would be no change. But even now, the people are going, but I want to minimize the odds of botching. It's 1.33%. Okay? You're trying to minimize lower than that? The odds of it coming up, and this isn't counting in bennies. If you're running a game with critical failure, so if you roll snake eyes and you're not allowed the benny out of it, then that game is supposed to have a slightly higher chance of you fail and you can't get out of it. All of these, 1.33% chance to snake eyes. If you spend one benny, I didn't even do the math, because it's 1.33% of 1.33% to snake eyes twice in a row. Okay? It's not a very high chance of failure. But for the sake of it, we're now going to look at the funny dice because I did that. So to compare, again, a 12-12, a D12 plus 1, as I said, 94% chance of success. A D14 has a 90% chance of success. A raise, 59 for the D12 plus 1, 57 for the D14. Okay. It should be pretty obvious losing the bonus. You're reducing your odds at the success. But it's mitigating that chance of the snake eyes, so that makes up for it. Well, here's the big thing. You're looking at a 4% difference. Yeah, across the board. A 4% difference in the odds of success. The snake eyes odds, again, all the D12s, 1.33%. A D14, 1.19%. You are sacrificing a 4% chance of success, needing special dice and making the rules even more convoluted, so you have about a 0.15%, 0.15% less of a chance of rolling a snake eyes that you can also benny out of. I have it for all this, but we'll jump all the way to the max, D20, because again, your snake eyes odds never change on the D12. So D12 plus 4, again, about a 99% chance to succeed, an 88% chance of a raise, and a 1.33% chance at snake eyes. If you were running this thing where you add dice and all that, now the D20 doesn't have this, oh, you need funky dice. If you go straight from 12 to 20, you're doing a huge jump. But if we do this, if you go that route, what are the odds of a D20? Well, they have a 93% chance of success. That's not great. They have a 70% chance at a raise. They're a little better than a D12 plus 2 on a raise. And they're worse than everything but an actual D12 for a success. What's their snake eyes chance? The lowest snake eyes chance you could get if you're maxing out die, unless you're going into really esoteric die, 0.83. Congratulations. You shaved 0.5% at the highest end to do this convoluted thing. Now again, if you really want to do all this, but if you think adding extra dice to this game is going to, like, it's an innovation that they haven't seen. No, it's not. First of all, it is not worth the hassle it gets brought in. Now we're going to do a little bit and talk about the philosophy of this also. Because if it goes D4, 6, 8, 10, 12, then 14, 16, 18, 20, they keep increasing. Like, the track feels identical. And I get that you might want to go, oh, okay, so it keeps feeling the same. Beyond D12 is supposed to be special. Now, there's some settings, and Savage Rifts is probably one of the highest one, as well as the Super's Companion, because you go above D12 frequently. Most of your Savage Worlds games cap at a D12. You have to buy a legendary edge to raise the cap of one thing to D12 plus 1, and then you still have to raise it to a D12 plus 1. And remember, at Legendary, it's 10 XP per advance. That's 2 advances. Then another advance to raise that same thing to a D12 plus 2 cap, and a 4th advance to fill the cap to actually have a D12 plus 2. If you're not running a super setting, a D12 plus 2 is actually very, very hard to get unless you have a setting that's supposed to blow things out of the water, or some of the racials raise caps by raising initially. But those are exceptions, not the rule. So that means going above a D12 is a big deal. It's a huge deal. D12 plus 1 is superhuman. D12 plus 2 is super powered. When we're getting to like D12 plus 4s, we're talking about gods for most settings. We really are. We're basically talking about god level ability, or at least like low level demigods. That's nothing to kind of go, oh, it needs to have this or that. It's supposed to feel massively different. It also keeps the math only go up to a D12. It keeps the dice only ever go up to a D12, and then you're looking at bonuses. Why did this shift so much? Because you also have to remember say you have a D12 plus 1. It's not just a plus 1 to that D12. It's also a plus 1 to the wild die. Raising to a D14 doesn't help the wild die at all. The gap for beyond D12 between wild card and non-wild card actually grows even more. And that's a big thing. That's actually a very important thing by the design of the game. The other one, it seems like when a lot of people look at these dice and look at how things are, they worry. I see, again, a lot of the botch worries. It looks a lot like, in conversation I've had, a lot of people seem to think you botch if you roll a 1 on the skill die. No. There are some cases where that happens. Typically, arcane backgrounds can have an effect if you roll a 1 on the skill die. If you have the berserk edge specifically and are berserking and roll a 1 on your skill die to fight, that has an effect. If you are firing into melee and miss your shot and roll a 1 on the skill die, you can hit an innocent bystander. But remember, with these bonuses, the odds of even missing your shot are incredibly low. The 1 on the skill die doing things is either a house rule or very, very limited rules. And in the design of those rules, it's supposed to be basically chance and bad luck. So it's not, and it's supposed to be actually kind of in the odds of chance and bad luck very high. Because the other case of it's just bad luck and things go awful is the snake eyes. Okay? Snake eyes is the actual botch, not 1 on the skill die. Those are situational rules. Now, you want to mitigate those and all? Fine. However, they've also been designed for the fact that dice never go above a D12. That's inherent in the design of the arcane backgrounds that, yeah, once you reach a D12 in your casting ability, the odds of you having a backlash from a 1 on your skill die are the lowest they'll ever be. Beyond that is your skill to get raises, and how quickly and easily you can just whip out spells. Or things like multi-action penalties or wound penalties. These bonuses you can start kind of not worrying about them. Again, once you're at D12 plus 1, everything beyond that doesn't change your odds of a normal success. However, a D12 plus 1 has a 94 chance of success. D12 plus 2 has a 99% chance of success. D12 plus 3 has a 99% chance. But a D12 plus 3 with a wound still has a 99% chance. And a D12 plus 2 with a wound has a 94% chance. That's what the bonus is. They're almost an insurance policy, in all honesty. They increase your odds of raises, and they kind of insure against other penalties. They're supposed to be, you're so good it's reliable. Not, it mitigates the chance of the 1 and stuff. Honestly, mitigating the chance of the 1 is the Benny's job. The dice help with it, but it's mainly the Benny's job. The odds of snake eyes are very low, even on a D4, if you really look at the odds of it happening. So I don't want this to come off ranty, but I see this coming up a lot, and there's no real other way to put it than like, here's the math, here is why doing that is not actually very good. It's taking the simple mechanics and adding a lot of convoluted to them, including specialty items where you don't need it. Okay, guys? Anyways, I'll catch you later. Bye. If you like that video, check out another video over here. Whatever it is, it's probably pretty good. Don't forget to like, share so other people can find the channel, and subscribe right up there. YouTube now won't let me put a link to the Patreon, but there is a link down in the description below. So if you want to help support the channel, check that out, and I will catch you guys next time.